Sharon High School football player remains in the hospital tonight with a brain injury. Of course, every case like this revives the debate over whether football is just too dangerous. As WBZ's Paul Burton explains tonight, researchers are now working on ways to make the game of football safer.
Support keeps pouring in for Sharon High School sophomore Rohan Shuka after he suffered a traumatic brain injury during a Thanksgiving Day football game. He's currently being treated at MGH.
Those that are focused on this area is for this reason, is to try to prevent this type of catastrophic outcome.
Eric Schwartz is vice dean and professor at Adelphi University and has spent much of his career at UNH. Most of his research over the past decade was how to manage acute head and neck injuries in football players.
Then I brought my research out literally onto the field and trying to prevent those injuries in the first place.
He calls it HUT, helmetless tackling training, which focuses on teaching football players the proper tackling techniques and keeping their head out of the way.
And we saw in those players that were doing those drills on a regular basis that their head impacts decreased over time throughout the course of a season.
Schwartz says to make the game safer and decrease the amount of traumatic brain injuries, it will take a combination of rule changes, practice structure, and proper tackling techniques. Meanwhile, the NFL has approved the use of padded helmet accessories known as guardian caps, but many of the players are not using them during games.
Regardless of what this is composed of, that doesn't change the biology of the brain inside the skull and the anatomy. And when there's motion and deceleration, the brain is still going to move around.
He also says flag football is a great option for parents to consider before entering their child into full contact football.
Get used to that, but then before they're put in a situation where it's full-blown, uncontrolled game-type situation, they need to undergo the right type of training.
In Durham, New Hampshire, I'm Paul Burton, WBZ News.